Good morning. I wanted to explore some ideas about passion with you this morning. These are in no way fully fleshed out, but I wanted to kind of think through because I was messaging with someone the other day and explaining that to me, coding and programming is not my passion. And maybe from the outside, it would be perceived as so. And so I just kind of wanted to talk through that because I've taken a long journey to get to where I am right now. And I think I started with the goal of I'm coming away from software engineering, of a 9-to-5 job type of structure, and knowing that this, or starting to realize that that was not the type of lifestyle that I wanted in the long term. Something about the amount of novelty, something about the level of fulfillment that I felt, the amount of purpose that I had. And so I think from that end of the spectrum, I swung hard and took a year to travel. And that was in the van. And I think my main focus was, what am I passionate about? What am I interested in? I was mostly following the Gary Vee ideology of how can I make money doing something that I love to do. I would prefer to make 40, 50, 60, 80,000 a year doing something that I actually enjoy and love doing, rather than making 100, 200, 300,000 doing something that just doesn't fill me up, And through a lot of journaling and self-exploration, I think I started experimenting with things. I got on Twitter, I started on YouTube, and I realized some things, like outside of making money, that I was interested in, like documenting my life, systematizing things, solving problems. And I went with I started to piece together what I knew about myself and started experimenting with things online. And then I think that brings me to actually trying to make money from something. I had decided that, okay, like I've done a year of just like writing blog posts and posting on Twitter and YouTube here and there, and like nothing has gained actual traction. So I thought, okay, well, I need to do something like intentional here. And so the idea that I had was, I will take a step back from like full passion, interest, hobby type of activity, and not all the way down to like something that I dislike, but continue to stay in something that I'm interested in and curious about, but that has the potential to make money from it. So like take a step back from full passion and take a couple more steps forward with doing something I can make money from, you know? And I think that is the path that I've been on so far and has gotten me here. Standing on this pathway above Granada. I think that mindset is still where I am today. And I have never been passionate about coding or programming. I view those who are passionate as, you know, always tinkering, always coding, always like, you know, watching coding videos and building little new things and that, I mean, I did some of that, but for me it was more about using software to solve a problem. So I built this video chat highlight bot for Twitch live streams. It was like completely to solve my own problem. And that was like my most proud project and biggest project that I did. But it was never about the process of coding. It was more about the process of creating and solving problems. And so I have heard the same thing from Pieter Levels. He has said, like almost word for word, the same thing, that coding is not his passion. And what else do I want to share here? I think on the flip side, I've met some people here in Granada in this group, and I don't remember the exact conversation, but we were talking about, someone brought up that what tends to happen with the business path that he's on and that others were on, is that you get to like over like 20 to 40,000 a month, and then you kind of start pivoting away from the business that you created and doing something more that you just enjoy doing, or making a bigger impact, like creating like a, maybe this is not a good example, but I think of it almost similar to, rather than someone like Elon Musk starting SpaceX from scratch, it's like you build a business on a path more traveled, more well traveled, that gives you the capital and experience and network to then pivot to something that you feel more fulfilled by, and that you can, you know, make the impact that you want to make, which like SpaceX is like insanely impactful for humanity. I hope that makes sense. And I thought that was a new, interesting perspective, because I was like, well, if you're taking this path from A to B, well traveled, something you don't dislike, but something that you're, you know, not long term interested in, and then from B to C to something that you are actually more interested in, like why not just go from A to C? And they were saying, from what I remember, that like it would take longer and it would be less, it like the risk is higher, basically, I guess. So I think that's the other end of the spectrum here, of finding something that you can at least be interested in, to do on a well-traveled path and then later pivot closer to something that you want. I think it's very situationally dependent. But yeah. So I think right now I have been enjoying for me, like my situation right now is like, I wouldn't say I'm passionate about, the closest thing I could say that I am passionate about is having one-on-one conversations with people about life, about things they're struggling with, life setup, big career decisions, that kind of thing. That is what I would say I'm most passionate about. But I have specifically decided to not try to make that my core vocation and make money from just that. Oh boy, the car is coming this way. And instead finding something that has the business model that I want, is scalable, detached from my time, and uses some of my skills, uses the skills that I have and aligns with the interests that I have. I think it's so huge, the fact that I'm actually making YouTube videos, because I experience the problem that I'm solving. And so I think that has actually been one of the bigger influential factors here, leading me to, think of ideas for how to improve the product and make it better outside of the time that I'm just spending focused working, if that makes sense. So I think in a long-winded way, I have come around on a journey focused on finding my passion, to taking a step back from the passion and back to using the skills that I have and building something, solving a problem, in a space that I'm interested in, and keeping the passion as a secured back foot genuine interest type of thing. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I hope that makes sense. I hope some piece of that might have been helpful for you, or some kind of perspective. But anyway, see you tomorrow.